Hey, sometimes we read books for entertainment, sometimes for knowledge, but once in a while we come across a book that quietly sits with us. A book that feels less like reading and more like thinking about our own life. And honestly, that's exactly how I felt while reading Notes from an Open Window by Rajnish Kumar. This book didn't feel loud, it didn't try too hard to impress. Instead, it felt calm, personal, and deeply honest. It's talk about loneliness, love, silence, overthinking, healing, relationships, self-awareness, freedom, and the emotional confusion of modern life. And what I loved most is that the author doesn't lecture. He simply observes life very honestly. And somewhere while reading those observations, I found myself reflecting on my own thoughts too. The atmosphere of this book is honestly beautiful. It feels like sitting near a window during rain, walking alone at night, or thinking deeply while soft music plays. The writing style is simple but emotionally powerful, and many lines stay in your mind because they feel real, not artificial. One of the strongest themes in this book is loneliness and solitude. The author beautifully explains that loneliness and solitude are not the same thing. Loneliness is needing people, solitude is being comfortable with yourself. And honestly, that idea hit hard. The book also talks a lot about emotional maturity, letting go, silence, expectations, attachment, and inner peace. Some sections question modern society itself. The author talks about how people spend their whole lives chasing money, validation, status, and approval without even understanding themselves. And throughout the book, there is this constant message: slow down and observe your life honestly. The relationship sections were honestly some of my favorites. This book doesn't talk about love in a dramatic way. Instead, it talks about understanding, emotional connection, respect, communication, and expectations. One beautiful idea from this book is communication is not enough, comprehension matters. And that line stayed with me because many people hear words, but very few truly understand emotions. Another thing I really appreciated is the spiritual side of the book. The author talks about meditation, awareness, mindfulness, ego, detachment, and silence, but thankfully, it never feels preachy. The message is simple. Peace comes when we stop forcing life constantly, and honestly, that calm energy is present throughout the entire book. There are also small Hindi poems in the book related to hopelessness and emotional exhaustion, and honestly, the part felt very real to me. हताशा से एक व्यक्ति बैठ गया था। व्यक्ति को मैं नहीं जानता था, हताशा को जानता था, इसलिए मैं उस व्यक्ति के पास गया। मैंने हाथ बढ़ाया, मेरा हाथ पकड़कर वह खड़ा हुआ। मुझे वह नहीं जानता था, मेरे हाथ बढ़ाने को जानता था। हम दोनों साथ चले। दोनों एक दूसरे को नहीं जानते थे, साथ चलने को जानते थे। What I loved about that poem is that it doesn't try to fake positivity. It accepts sadness honestly. And I think that's something very important because nowadays everyone wants to look strong all the time. But this poem quietly reminds us that feeling lost is human, emotional darkness is human, and sometimes simply surviving difficult phases is also strength. That poem perfectly matches the atmosphere of the entire book. It feels lonely but truthful, and honestly, after reading that section, the whole book felt even more personal to me. This book reminded me that not every energy comes immediately, not every person stays forever. Happiness cannot be chased directly, silence can heal, and emotional honesty matters. It also reminded how important it is to slow down, think deeply, understand yourself, and stop living mechanically. Now, obviously, no book is perfect. Some ideas become repetitive, and sometimes the book feels overly melancholic. A few readers may also feel that it jumps randomly between thoughts, but strangely, that chaos also makes the book feel human because real thoughts are not always perfectly organized. I genuinely want to appreciate Rajnish Kumar sir for the honesty in this book. You can clearly feel emotional effort, vulnerability, observation, and deep reflection. This book feels lived, not manufactured, and honestly, that emotional sincerity is what makes the book memorable. Overall, Notes from an Open Window feels less like a book and more like someone's personal philosophical diary. It is thoughtful, emotional, quiet, introspective, and deeply human. Yes, it's imperfect, but maybe that imperfection is exactly what makes it connect emotionally. If you enjoy reflecting writing, philosophy, emotional honesty, and books that quietly stay in your mind, then I definitely recommend this one. Go and grab this book, Notes from an Open Window by Rajnish Kumar. Thank you.